was used to be our country. I was fighting for my own country, my own land.
Veteran and Penobscot tribe member Charles Shay has died. Shay was the last Native American who served at D-Day during World War II. The invasion on the beaches of France is credited with marking the beginning of the end for the Nazi regime on mainland Europe.
Some 160,000 soldiers surged up the beach that day, charging enemy fortifications. As a medic, Shay made that run dozens of times, dragging men out of the surf and patching up their wounds under heavy fire. Shay received many commendations for his courage and valor on that day and continued to serve in the Army for 20 more years. Charles Norman Shay was awarded a Silver Star, 3 Bronze Stars, and France's Legion of Honor. He was raised on Indian Island and graduated from Old Town High School. After his time in the armed forces, Shay continued to fight for his people.
In 2009, he won in an effort to set aside a day specifically honoring Native American veterans. He argued the recognition was long overdue for a number of reasons. For one, Native Americans weren't allowed to vote when he first enlisted. Shay also argued that the day would pay tribute to the long history of tribes fighting for American causes.
We were second-class citizens in this country. The immigrants coming from Europe at that time had more rights than the Native Americans did. We want the recognition so that our people and children can celebrate and honor what the Native Americans in the state of Maine have done for this state and for the country.
Maine now celebrates Native American Veterans Day on June 21st. That's the day in 1775 that Penobscot Chief Joseph Orono committed to fighting alongside General George Washington's army in the Revolutionary War.
The state of Maine had one more honor for Charles Shay. The Maine State Ferry that runs between Rockland and Matinicus now bears his name. Drew Peters was there for its first launch.
A new ferry in Rockland's harbor, honoring Maine veteran and member of the Penobscot Nation, Charles Norman Shay.
He provided lifelines for people in tough circumstances. This boat's going to provide a lifeline to people who live in tough circumstances.
At 19 years old, Shay served as a combat medic during the D-Day invasion.
He's not a big man, but just digging his feet into the water and grabbing these bodies out because they were going to drown.
The ferry will serve Mainers traveling to and from rural Matinicus Isle.
We absolutely depend on the ferry for anything that needs to be delivered, either direction, and we're hoping that this means we have a long span of time ahead of us with the ferry service.
According to state ferry officials, the ship is the first vessel in Maine's fleet to be named after a member of the Wabanaki Nations, with its location being chosen due to the Penobscot Nation's presence on the island for centuries. A tribute Shay's nephew and fellow Penobscot member Tim Shay says he and his nation are honored to have.
We're now being recognized of who we really are, and how we connect to this land, and what we've sacrificed for it.
Shay himself sending this message all the way from France, where he now lives.
I feel very proud to have a boat bearing my name right where my ancestors had their summer encampment.
That was our Drew Peters reporting last year. These were just a few of Shay's accomplishments. He's also been involved in preserving the history of the Penobscot tribe. He ran the Tribal Museum on Indian Island, helped republish a book on the tribe's history that had been written by his grandfather decades earlier.
Charles Shay moved to France in 2018, living near the shores of Normandy. He died there at the age of 101.